Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie, and my amazing guest today, Katie Wilson. You are not going to want to miss this. Make sure and share this out with your friends. Tag them, let them know we're on. Here we go. Do you want to know how amazing people connect? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie.
Thanks for connecting. And if you like what you hear, please share.
Special thank you to our sponsors of Marketing with Russ, Michelle Martin and Farmers Insurance, the Aging Better Network, Christine Smith, the Oaks at Lebanon, and Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer. For more information on Michelle Martin and Farmers Insurance, call 541-981-2616. And for more information on Christine Smith and the Aging Better Network, go to agingbetternetwork.com. And for the Oaks at Lebanon Retirement and Assisted Living, go to lebanonretirement.com. And finally, for Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer, go to perspectivesoncancer.com and please give today. Music by Connor Hedge and Protestant, used with permission. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie from my car studio today. So glad to see you all here today. So blessed, so thankful that I can do this no matter where I am and no matter what is happening, because I love the opportunity to be able to come and share such great value like I have today. Katie Wilson is going to be great. You're going to be just going to love the show today. So make sure right from the get-go to share this out and let your friends know what's going on. And please tag them, tag your friends, say, guess what? I know it's early. I know it's Thursday. But you know what? Katie Wilson is on Marketing with Russ. Woo! You got to come. So I always appreciate the reminders. I don't know about you, but I appreciate that. And life gets busy. And so it's great to let people know what's going on. So what is Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie, all about? Well, if you're new, let me tell you, it's all about how amazing people connect. That's right. I'm a firm believer that the foundation for any good marketing plan, any good business is connection and community building. I think that's what it's all about, because you know what? As Zig Ziglar always said, you build the people and then the people build your business, because you know what? We're all in the people business, no matter what we're doing. We all need to interact. And you know what? It truly is a fact that we are better together. And so when we share life with people, things are so much better. So anyway, if you want to have a good, thriving, long-term business today, connect and build community. That's what we're all about. And of course, I love to connect. So you can go to russhedge.com. I keep it simple. I'm a simple-minded guy. russhedge.com. You know my name, add a .com, you're all good to go. And that would be so great. I would love to connect with you. Also, our YouTube is growing by leaps and bounds. Would love to have you be part of our YouTube community. Why, you say? Well, every Monday and Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, we go live. But then guess what? It sits on YouTube along with LinkedIn and Facebook for forever on LinkedIn and YouTube and 30 days on Facebook. So YouTube is a blessing if you are part of that community because you have access to all of our live streams, not only Marketing with Russ, but the Experience Live with Russ and Scott, the Experience Local, and Russ Reels Live. All of them are there. Plus some amazing, amazing shorts, the marketing tip of the day that we'll do here shortly. Also, you can see some amazing, cute pets on there of mine. So they are more popular than I am, obviously. So go to marketingwithruss.live today, and that is how you get to my YouTube page, marketingwithruss.live. So again, if you know the name of this show, then you can get to the YouTube page easy peasy. Marketingwithruss.live is the way to do it, and love for you to subscribe. In fact, take just a second, go up there, open up a separate tab, type in marketingwithruss.live, subscribe right now if you are not subscribed, and make sure to become an active member. That'd be so great. As I said before, it would be such a blessing if you would share this and tag your friends. Engage today in the live stream. Let us know you're here. Make sure that you ask questions, make comments, say hi to each other in the comments. It's a great way to connect and build community. Even if you're not part of the show directly, you are part of this community and you can connect with each other in the comments. So I'd love for you to do that. All right. Normally behind me is my book, Live the Life You Choose. Love for you to pick up a copy of that. Yes, you can go to russedge.com for that. Also, my 4 anthology collaborative books that were #1 on Amazon, #1 international bestsellers are also available at russedge.com and on Amazon and other online booksellers. So you can go there. My latest book, Life Happens and Then You Choose, is in its first edit right now. Getting ready to release that later this fall or early winter. So please look for that coming. Really excited about that. All right. And last but not least, we do our marketing tip of the day every Monday and Thursday. So this is today's marketing tip, and this will get cut out separately, put on YouTube Shorts, put on social media, so you can actually just go back and watch the marketing tip of the day or share it with your friends or whatever you'd like to do. So please do that, share, like, all of those good things. So are you ready? Here we go. This is your marketing tip of the day. Give yourself space. All right, there you go. It's that simple. Give yourself space. You need space to create. You need space to think. You need space to grow and have your life actually operate in a good manner. Because if you don't give yourself space and you're too wound up and tight and doing things at too fast of a pace, what ends up happening is you end up burning yourself out. You end up causing more problems. So today it's so important that you actually give yourself space, time to think about ways to market your business, ways to sell your products or services, things that you're doing, ways to operate your nonprofit, ways to make your personal life better. What can you do better for your spouse and for your kids and for your family? When you give yourself space, God has time to work through you and be able to give you insight and wisdom on good things to do in your life. So above all else, today, give yourself space, make things run on a smooth path, and that is your marketing tip of the day. All right, there we go. All right, so we're done with our marketing tip. That'll get cut out. Let's get Katie in the room, get things rolling. She's wondering if she's ever going to get in here. Hey, Katie.
Hi.
It's so good to have you today. Man, we
Yeah,
had such an
great to be
amazing
here.
conversation. You bet. We had such an amazing conversation a while back, and couldn't wait to get you on. So let's start with the basics. Who in the world is Katie Wilson? What are you up to?
Yeah, so my name's Katie Wilson. I'm the founder of Serious Moonlight Consulting, which is a sales and marketing consulting agency. I spent 15 years in big tech at Google, where I was a head of sales, working largely with our retail customers. So helping them with all things online advertising. So on search, on mobile, YouTube advertising as well, and display. So really that was my background. Before that, I worked a little bit in advertising for nonprofits. And then I also worked at LVMH for their first e-commerce site. So have a background in e-commerce as well. So about a few years ago, I moved out of LA, wanted to move further, closer to family, and try my hand at consulting and starting my own business. I've worked with, hundreds of thousands of businesses at Google, hired, tons of people. and realized I have some insight I could offer other businesses. And so now I've been consulting largely on the sales side and the marketing side with anywhere from founders that are just starting their business and need help and coaching on how they go to market. The very basic side, some startups as well, scaling their business, helping them hire a team, helping them put together a proper sales process, as well as corporate partners where I might be working as a fractional VP or, working on larger scale project with them.
Well, I mean, you have an amazing background, and I know that working with Google alone, I mean, I'm sure the nonprofits was a great foundation for you, but working at Google with all those businesses really gives you a lot of insight into where people are going nowadays because, online is such a huge thing. I mean, in person is always going to be the most important, I think, but everything is moving online so fast. You got to have a good combination of person and online and knowing how to actually grow and scale your business. So many people get stuck there. Where do you start with people when they come to you? I know that everybody comes in a different spot, but where do you start when people are just really having a rough time getting
Yeah.
things moving, started, whatever?
Yeah, I work a lot with our small business association here in Temecula, and I'll work with our entrepreneur group. And so in that, and I also do office hours there, and I'll work with a lot of small businesses, right? Where it can be overwhelming to think about online advertising. It can be expensive, right? I often say, don't really start there. I would say, that's the icing on the cake. Start with the foundations first, which are, do you have a functional website? That's something you can set up on your own through Squarespace or other things. Like, have a great website that says what you do, has your contact information organically, then it can be searched by Google, right? So all of that is free. You want to come up in organic. And as AI evolves, you want to have a place where your business lives and the information lives. Setting up a LinkedIn profile, setting up a Facebook profile for your business, Instagram, all of these are kind of like those core tenets of, do you have a presence online? And it does take time, but that doesn't have to cost a lot of money. So I definitely set up those foundations first. The other foundation I often talk with folks about is Google Analytics. It's a great free product from Google. It shows you who's coming to your website. It shows you the demographics of people coming to your site and gives you a lot of information. And you want to have that set up before you start paying people to come to your website because you need to be able to track what's happening and if that money is working. So setting up Google Analytics is super important. And again, like it's very automated. Once you get the tag on your site and a lot of site providers, it's very easy to integrate. So once you get those basics set up, then you can start thinking about paying for advertising. And Google AdWords, I think is a great place to start. Instagram, Meta ads as well. It really depends on the type of business you have. So I'll talk to folks in the retail space. You have physical, beautiful product you want to show. Really makes sense to be on Google Shopping, to be on Instagram, to be showing that product in people's feed, to be highlighting that with a visual ad, right? If you're a local plumber or, a local services business, local ads are probably better for you because you want to say, I only want to advertise to this zip code and this area on these keywords about my business. I don't need a visual of a plunger, like I'm okay with text, right? Start there. So it definitely depends on the business. I'm working with like an industrial business right now. So they're all very B2B. It makes sense for them to be on LinkedIn because they know the kinds of clients they want to go after and the titles, and they can advertise to specific companies and specific titles. So again, like really working with someone, and I'm always happy to consult and talk with folks about this of, what is the right mix for you, and what someone else's mix isn't going to be the same as yours. So
Right.
even if someone
Yeah.
says, oh, Instagram ads work great for me, it might not work for your business, and that's okay.
Yeah, there's not one for all and all for one with that.
No.
Definitely need to look at what works for you. And what I love that you're bringing up that people need to realize uh, there's
Yes.
so many free resources that are sitting there with Google and with social media and all of that that you need to take advantage of. So many people tell me, "Oh, I hate social media," and I said, "Well, that's because you're looking at it wrong.
Yeah.
You're going about it the wrong way. If you utilize it for its advantages." Yes, there's always going to be a downside to everything that's out there. Look at the positives that are out there, the things you can do that are going to bless and promote your business. And that's why people need people like you, Katie.
Yeah, and think about where people are spending their time, right? We used to get, circulars in the mail and everyone was reading their magazines. Now people are scrolling on Instagram like they would a magazine, right? They're looking at, if you're looking for a purse or a dress, like I'm actually searching in Google, but I'm also looking on Instagram. I'm following brands. Like user behavior has changed and you want to evolve with that. And you need to know what that means for your business. Like, how are people searching for what you have? And that's why I think the data and the analytics is great too, like looking to see what the behavior is happening online, and then map being where your customers are is the most important part. And again, not to discount in person. That's great. If you're a local business, you want to be in the community. You want to be advertising like with billboards, and you want to be, sponsoring things and be part of like local networking. That's so important. But when someone needs a plumber and they're searching on Google, like you also want to show up for that person.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be complicated. And I think a lot of these things, you set your own budgets and you can experiment. I always say test and iterate. That was like a core principle at Google, and a lot of it rings true. Like you want to test, see if it works. You can add more money to it. You can take away. But allow things to test and allow things to work out on and give things a chance. Like you said, don't write it off just because you think it will work for your business.
Yeah, well, and I love that too. You do have to know where your customers are, like you said,
Yeah.
because you can utilize a lot of time in an area that's really not going to be beneficial for you. I learned early on with what I do and who I'm trying to reach that TikTok is not the place for me.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for that generation to work with. They're great. I love that generation, but that's not what I want to spend a lot of time on. And for me, spending a lot of time on YouTube because of my live
Yes.
streaming and all the things that I have on there is great to really promote that and do things that I'm doing there. Same thing with LinkedIn, works really
Yep.
good for me, the business to business, all of those things. But when you know where the people are that you're trying to reach, and that's the thing that people have trouble with, Katie. They're
Yes.
thinking, well, who am I trying to reach? And that's where people run into problems if they don't even know who they're really trying to go after, right?
Yeah, and that's a really core part of, what I do on the sales side. You want to have, you hear people throw out ICP, your ideal customer profile, right? And there could be multiple. Like I just described my business for you at the beginning. And if you noticed, I described multiple customer profiles, right? One customer profile is working with a founder. That is a person starting their business. One is a startup that is scaling their business, and one is corporate. So I have like three different profiles of customers. And what I would do and reach those customers is very different, right? For the startup group, I'm probably going to attend a startup conference. I mentor with Techstars. I'll be at LA Tech Week. I'll meet those startups in person and network with them, do some mentorship there. That's a great place for me to get in front of startups. For founders, that's a lot of one-to-one networking. So it might be joining like a local business group for you. It might be doing things like this and showcasing what I do to other people out there that are founders. It might be being in consulting networks. So just like what you said about like, community, like find your community of others like you, and then you can refer each other business. So that's a really important part too, understanding each
Okay.
profile of your customers and where they're going to
Yeah,
be. And then at the end of the year, I'm a nerd, and like any good salesperson, you want to audit, right? You want to see, where did you get customers from? So I
right.
have a spreadsheet, and if for every customer I have, I match it back to my source of them, right? Could that source be like, hey, they heard me on Russ's podcast and reached out and sent me an email? Could it be at this conference I met this person that then turned into this amount of money? I match up the dollars per where they came from. And then at the end of the year, I said, oh, that was a good conference. I'll go back. This one didn't really, pan out like I thought. Maybe I'll put that one on pause. Oh, this came from a Google ad. Oh, this came from a Google ad. I can start to see the value of your advertising. So that's
Right.
really important. It's a very easy and simple thing to do at the end of the year or quarterly if you have, a high volume business. But you want to be tracking back, like, where did these customers come from, to look at your
Right.
ROI.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you because you really got to know where your dollars are best spent. And
Yes.
I think that, again, it boils down to if you're sitting out there watching this today and you don't have your Google business site set up, if you don't have your basic social media site set up, you need to do that today. You need to get things moving and utilize the marketing and the advertising that you can do. But it also is a huge, huge connection source. And, like, for example, LinkedIn for me is an amazing connection source.
Yeah.
I've built such an amazing community of the kind of people that I want to be around, learn from, grow with, collaborate with, uh, get to come and use my business. All of those things happen there for me. And so that's a place I want to go. But it's that connection and community building that we talked about at the beginning that is actually so important to continue to do for your business. And all these resources are there for you, not only to advertise and market your business, but to connect to the right people. And just like Katie said, you
Definitely.
want people that will refer you, right?
Yeah, yeah, and building that community, like you said, it's not about, you're not going to find that community unless you're testing some of this, right? So you want to make sure to be able to say, like, maybe you don't have a good LinkedIn profile and you want to, want to spruce it up. It's worth your time to invest in that. And see if it works out for you. Depending on the kind of businesses you have, it's absolutely worth your time to invest in a quality website, right? There's some things that are just like building blocks of what you
Right.
need to run your business. And then it's about finding that customer profile and saying, doubling down on where they are and either advertising them with paid, doing some community building within that community and being a part of that community and just making yourself known, right, to those customers. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to find you. So really figuring out that ideal customer and getting in front of them more often.
Right. And I mean, a lot of people get hung up on that. Who is my ideal customer? Really, I mean, what do you do? Who are you trying to reach?
Yep.
The person you're going after. If you could walk out right now and say, "This is the group I want to talk to sell my product," that is your ideal customer. Who are you going after? Obviously, if you're selling trucks, you're not going after 14 to 15-year-old kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's obvious. There you go. So maybe TikTok isn't the place for you. I mean, it's just all a matter of thinking about where they are, what they're doing, utilizing your dollars wisely. This is what marketing boils down to, some really simple processes. And I think people get held up on so many things, but visibility, getting yourself known and finding your tribe, finding the right people out there really are three of the most basic principles of marketing that help you move. And Katie can help you do that online because there's so many resources in there. And boy, I tell you, if you had anybody help you set you up on Google, man, the person that used to lead the whole sales team at Google, that's the person you need. So,
Yeah,
well,
yeah, and
hey,
it's
Kate,
like I said, it's not hard. It doesn't have to be overly complex, and I think a lot of people start with the hard stuff. Like, they start saying, "Oh, I need to set up, like, this complex, tracking, or this I need to spend a lot of money on Instagram or Google, and I need to, like, throw a lot of money into advertising." And if you're throwing a lot of money into advertising, but you don't have a great website, that's a waste of money, right? So, you need to build those few things first. So, working with someone and auditing what you have, like, "Hey, where are we at now? What do you have so far?" Okay, let's like make a plan to like incrementally build this out. Okay, now let's add on some advertising. Now let's test this channel. And doing isolated tests, right? Let's test LinkedIn for this time frame. Let's test Google. Let's test them in combination. It's all about really, building yourself up to that versus
right,
thinking that you have to like invest a ton of both time and money in it right away. Um, you
right.
know, it's really about now, I have to market my business as well. And I heard before you saying like set aside time, right? You need that time to do that, that
Yeah,
thinking time.
yeah,
And that could be
yeah,
blocks of time where you're just iterating on content, right? What am I going to, record for LinkedIn? I want to do, a couple video pieces. I want to write a couple posts. You don't have to write and post right away. You could have a time where maybe you work best in the morning and you want to write your posts for the whole month. And a lot of these platforms you can schedule, right? So utilize that to your advantage in the way you work. And then it doesn't feel like a ton of pressure if you block it off into segments for yourself. Hey, I really need to do my website like this month. Okay, I'm going to break that out into, a couple hour chunks where maybe I'm going to research platforms one day. The next day I'm going to start building it. The next day I'm going to do this, right? You can break that out up to make it actionable for you. But if those
perfect.
are the things that need to get done that you keep pushing off, I literally just put a block on my calendar and make myself do it like it would be a meeting, like it would be, a call with Russ, right? Like you have to put that on your calendar and then like hold yourself accountable to that too.
For sure, for sure. And the two things you said there that I think are so important. Number one is you got to have a good website because
Yes.
I drive everybody to my website. I utilize all these resources to drive everybody to my website. And number two, the thing you've got to do is be consistent in what you do. Once you get started with things, be consistent. Like, for example, On LinkedIn, I write a LinkedIn newsletter, and consistently every Monday morning, I put out a LinkedIn newsletter. Very consistent. People know when it's going to be there, where it's going to be there. That's a way to build up a community and audience when they know where you're going to be. Just like Marketing with Russ is always here every Monday and Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We're always here being consistent. And those are things you really, really have to do. So, Katie, we're unfortunately at the time we got to start wrapping up, but I want to have you kind of tie a bow on it all. Give us your gold nugget of the day, what you really want people to remember from our conversation today, and let everybody know how they get in touch with you.
Yeah. I would say that sales and marketing, it's a process and a system that can be learned, right? It doesn't have to feel overwhelming. Break things up into small chunks that you want to accomplish, and really start with the foundational aspects of your business. And that foundations is how people find you and the information you have to put out there. LinkedIn profile, great website, Google business listing. These are all free things that you can do for yourself to be found online, and then start to incrementally test with advertising and other platforms. And you can always reach me at seriousmoonlightconsulting.co, or find me, Katie Wilson, on LinkedIn. I'm happy to connect with folks and talk more about your business.
Awesome. And by the way, everybody, if you didn't see it, there on the screen, it's in the comments, it's in the show notes. It is clickable. You can go right to it. You don't have to remember it. Just click on it, go straight to Katie. I highly recommend you use her. And so today, make sure and click on that. Share this information out with your friends. By the way, just a reminder, most people watch the show on replay. We have a ton live, but a bunch watch on replay. So share this show out even now. Let your friends know, tag them, and let them know. And if you're watching on replay, thank you so much. Please put hashtag Team Replay. Share this out with a couple of your friends as well, because this will sit on LinkedIn and YouTube forever. It'll sit on Facebook for 30 days. It's going to be there as a resource, not only what we talked about, but all the connection information for Katie. If you think, oh my goodness, I got to go back and look at that, I can't remember how to get in touch with Katie, you can do that. So today, please remember to do that. And thanks for however you're watching or listening. Remember, this also is on audio podcast. So thank you for that. And Katie, with that, you are so amazing. We're going to have you back on here in the future, because you and I could talk for a long time about all of this. But I appreciate you coming in today and being with us.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Have a good day.
You bet. Hey, I'm going to say goodbye on screen, but hang tight in the green room for just 1 second. Okay, see ya. All right, everybody. Another amazing show. I'm telling you. Just want to say thanks to everybody. Thanks to Katie. Boy, I tell you, what an amazing time today, and what great information, what great value she has. You got to get in touch with Katie today. All of her information is there. Please reach out to her. There it is on the screen again. The link has been ticking along the bottom all morning, and I just appreciate all you being here. Don't forget, we're here every Monday and Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time for your listening, viewing pleasure, and then this converts to audio podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, so please check it out there. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page by going to marketingwithruss.live and subscribe today there. Appreciate everybody. Want to tell you how much we appreciate our sponsors. You saw them at the very beginning, but let's see here. Let's take off the scroll, and then you can see it. There you go. Farmers, Aspects of Aging, Christine Smith, The Oaks of Lebanon, and Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer. And by the way, Showing Up Perspectives has their live conference coming up this October 3rd through 5th, so please look into that. Also, I want to remind you, we're listener supported. We couldn't do this without you. So please scan that QR code or the link in the comments and give today. Any amount helps us. Don't forget, I have a special going for my New York trip where I'll be speaking at the Perspectives on Cancer conference in October, and I could use your help to get there. For only $150. You get a live stream episode sponsorship, and you get a digital ad on social media, about a $700 or $800 value, and you get it all for only $150, and it helps me get to New York. So I'd appreciate you if you want to do that. That would be so awesome. With that, we're going to get out of here. Have a blessed and amazing week and weekend, and we'll see you next Monday. All right, bye everybody.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. Be sure to subscribe in your favorite podcast app so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an amazing day.